My name is Bo. I am 62 years old. And for most of my life, I believed that love, sacrifice, and hard work were enough to build a family. I spent decades proving that belief. Until one night proved me wrong. The evening of the party, I woke up before sunrise. Old habits don't leave you easily. Even at 62, my body still moved like a man with responsibilities, because I always had them. I stood in the kitchen, staring at the empty counters. Within a few hours, this silent space would be filled with noise, laughter, and guests who didn't know me, in a house that I once built with my own hands. Yes, I built that house. Brick by brick, salary by salary, sacrifice by sacrifice. Back when Daniel was just a little boy who would run barefoot across the floor, calling me Baba, with a smile that made every hardship feel worth it. That same house, where I now felt like a stranger. I cooked everything myself. Spiced rice, grilled meat, fresh bread, dishes I had learned over years, some from my late wife, some from experience, and some from love. Every plate carried a memory. But no one at that party would taste that. To them, it was just food. By evening, the house looked beautiful. Lights hung across the walls, the living room was arranged perfectly, music was set, everything was ready. I stood in front of the mirror. My shirt was old, yes, but clean, carefully ironed. I adjusted the collar, looked at my reflection, and whispered to myself, "Stand straight, Bo, you are the father of the host." For a brief moment, I believed it. The guests arrived like a wave. Expensive cars, loud greetings, confident laughter. Men in sharp suits, women dressed in elegance. And in the middle of it all, my son, Daniel. He looked successful, polished, important. I felt proud. Really proud. I stood near the corner watching him greet people. I waited just a little, hoping he would turn, see me, and say, "This is my father." But he didn't. Instead, "Bo, drinks are finished, bring more." It was Clara. Her voice cut through the air like it always did. I nodded quietly and moved. One tray, then another, then another. Each time I walked past the guests, I lowered my eyes, not out of shame, but out of habit. Because somewhere along the way, I had been trained not to be seen. I overheard conversations. "Daniel is doing amazing. Such a beautiful house. Perfect couple." No one asked about the old man moving silently between them. No one wondered. And maybe that hurt more than anything. Then came the moment. The moment that changed everything. A man, loud, confident, slightly drunk, pointed at me and laughed. "Hey Daniel, where did you find such a loyal servant?" Time slowed. I stopped walking. The tray in my hands suddenly felt heavier. My heart waited. For my son. For one sentence. Just one. But Daniel didn't hesitate. He smiled. That same smile he used as a child when he wanted approval. "Oh, him," he said casually. "He's been with us for years." Laughter exploded in the room. It wasn't cruel laughter. That's what made it worse. It was casual, easy, natural. As if what he said was completely normal. Something inside me didn't shatter. It sank, like a stone dropping into deep water, disappearing without a sound. I didn't argue. I didn't react. I just turned and walked away. In the kitchen, I placed the tray down carefully. My hands trembled slightly. I looked at them, these same hands that once held my son when he couldn't walk, that worked until they cracked and bled, that built the life he was celebrating tonight. And now, they were the hands of a servant. I let out a slow breath. "No," I whispered to myself, "not anymore." Clara entered shortly after. Her heels clicked sharply against the floor. "What are you doing here?" she asked, annoyed. "Guests need service." I turned to face her. For the first time, I did lower my gaze. "I am tired," I said. She crossed her arms, then rest after the party. right now, don't embarrass us." Embarrass? The word echoed. I almost smiled. There was something bitterly ironic about it. But instead, I simply said, "I understand." And I walked back out. The rest of the night passed like a blur. Faces, voices, laughter, all distant. I was there physically, but something inside me had already left. After midnight, silence finally returned. The guests were gone. The lights were dim. And the house looked exactly like it did before. Except now, it didn't feel like mine at all. I went to my room. A small room, the one I had moved into years ago when Daniel and Clara took over the master bedroom. I packed slowly. Not in anger. Not in sadness. But with a strange sense of clarity. I folded my clothes neatly, picked up old photographs, Daniel as a child, my wife smiling beside him, a younger version of me who still believed in forever. I paused at one photo. Daniel, maybe 5 years old, sitting on my shoulders, laughing. "Baba, don't ever leave me," he had said that day. I closed my eyes. "Funny," I whispered, "you left first." I wrote a note. Simple, honest. "I gave you my life. Tonight, I realized I lost my place in yours. I am leaving, not because I am weak, but because I finally remember my worth." I placed it on the table and walked out of the house I once called home. The night air was cold, but for the first time in years, I felt awake. Every step away from that house felt heavy, yet freeing. Like chains I didn't know I was wearing were finally gone. The days that followed were not easy. Starting over at 62 is not a story people write about. There is no applause, no encouragement. Just silence and survival. I rented a small, worn-out room. The paint was peeling, the bed creaked, the window barely closed. But it was mine. No orders, no humiliation. Just peace. I found work at a local workshop. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. And the people there treated me like a human being. "Bo-bye, come sit. Bo-bye, eat with us." Simple words. But after that night, they meant everything. Slowly I healed. Not completely. Scars don't disappear. But they stop hurting as much. Then one day, my phone rang. "Dad." It was Daniel. His voice trembled. "Where are you?" I leaned back in my chair. "You didn't see me when I was right in front of you," I said calmly. "Why look now?" Silence. Then a quiet breakdown. "I'm sorry." I listened, not as a father desperate to forgive, but as a man who had finally learned his value. When he came to see me weeks later, he looked smaller. Not physically, but emotionally. "Dad, please come home." I shook my head gently. "My home is where I am respected." Tears filled his eyes. I didn't understand. "No," I said softly, "you didn't." I didn't return. But I didn't close the door either. Because sometimes, forgiveness is not about going back. It's about letting go of the pain. Today I am still Bo. 62 years old. But no longer invisible. No longer silent. No longer someone's servant. I am a man who learned, late but fully, that dignity is not given by others. It is claimed by yourself. Moral of the story: never let success make you forget the people who sacrificed for you. Respect is the foundation of every relationship. Once it is broken, love alone cannot hold it together. And most importantly, never stay where you are not valued, even if it is your own home.